Hello and welcome. This is Tactical Tuesday. I am Gec and I'm here with.
Saint Sasius!
Woohoo! And we will be casting RIP versus Mumblerines, Fear Academy, OMBD, and Redcoats on Albasra. And this is the map version. I'm just bringing up the map, showing everyone the way this map always looks. It is not the invasion version. It is the standard. So you can actually, rushing will happen. So I'm looking forward to this, and yeah.
Setting up a few things on my side. It won't be too long, and I'll join you as
Excellent, excellent. I'm
trying to make the map as dark as possible. You know, get that nice
oh
little
yeah.
shadows in where you can, and
Yeah. I figured out actually this great
that's
trick.
it.
Yeah.
I'm turning off reshade. I'm turning off reshade.
Oh
I
hell
usually
no.
never do it.
Yeah.
And it's actually made it quite
Yeah, it's made it
better.
quite, but it just makes my entire screen blurry. What I do is I turn off my monitor and it's just perfectly dark. And that's,
Perfect.
kind of hard to play, but you get used to it after. The first 7 hours as a blind man are the worst, and after that it's just
No, very, very true. Alright, so what are we doing? Okay, have they started yet?
No,
Have they
it's still
started?
21
20
seconds. I was
seconds?
a bit early with my intro, but I feel it's fine. Like I've got a co-caster, so nothing really matters. There
Whatever,
we go.
Trev's, mate. That's all we say. Whatever,
Yeah,
Trevor.
whatever.
Alright, so I'm gonna be on Rusty and Place's side. You're gonna be on the awesome foursome. I think we've got,
Awesome foursome. Yep.
Mumblerines, Fear Academy, Old Man Bring Death, and good old Redcoats.
Yep.
Last time they met, Gek, tell us what happened. What happened last time they met?
It is a day that will be forever remembered in the RIP Book of Grudges. They got completely, well, I wouldn't say wrecked, but I doubt they enjoyed the match as much as the other team. Let's put it that way. And yeah, basically they that wasn't this map. What was that map called? What's the name of the map?
Yayo.
Yayo,
Oh,
yeah.
Eureka.
Yeah, Eurivka, and they got pretty beaten. I mean, not really on flags, but in material, they just got destroyed. They lost so many tanks and stuff as Russian side that when it came to the next round and they were on US side, they didn't really utilize their vehicles and just got destroyed for doing that because they were afraid of losing the same way again.
Yeah, it's 651 tickets the Rusty and Places lost against
Yeah.
good old the awesome foursome, or the coalition as I usually call them, on good old Yeo. So yeah,
The coalition of death.
very true.
And they are coming in now.
Rusty and Places are already they've taken out every single vehicle. You know, they've already got a transport truck over on Village, already on Village itself, and then a lot of vehicles heading sort of to the north and sort of south of outskirts as we speak.
But they're wow, and look at this. Winsky's just driving into town, fearing nothing here. And spawning in a full group. Where the hell are they heading? They appear to be in some kind of middle ground. Mumblerines are reacting now though. With a rocket. But I think this is a sacrificial vehicle right here. Honestly.
Yeah, you got the open top of that Humvee, which, you know, it doesn't cost that many tickets at all. So
yeah, and the
might
fact
as well
that
sacrifice it early, get in the town or get in the outskirts.
yeah, it's already been hit as well, and then it got hit again. It's definitely gonna blow up. There it goes.
There it goes.
And it's just, I think it was they were just supposed to get in there because right now look at they're spread out all over these buildings here.
Yeah, they're just getting on the two-story areas as much as they possible. You know, Redcoats on their sort of south side village now, cause sort of coming or the outskirts, sorry, are really coming under contact now. With the sort of Mumblerines pushing in, sort of as they do. Just brutal here from Resilience.
Do they have a rally point lying around, by the way?
They do not, and I don't know why a phone's ringing in the background, but no, they don't. So,
Alright.
these resting places don't have a rally point. Squad 2 do, though, up towards the north, and they've placed the hab.
Yeah.
They've got the hab up in the north side of outskirts.
Yeah, I see it right there. Alright, so basically, not exactly sure what they accomplished with that southern flank then. I thought maybe they'd drop a rally or drop a fob and try and get something going really, really quickly and just spawn out in the middle of the city instantly, basically.
We have one striker in the village.
Maybe cutting off the enemy a little bit.
Overlooking the
Yeah, very true. I do apologize for that. Whatever's ringing, no one
Yeah.
should be ringing me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so village is fine as well. You know, they've captured the village. What we usually see in pub matches is always a rush on village. But no, I don't think the coalition are thinking of doing that. I think they
No.
really want to get in the face of Rip and really test Rip, just to see if you know. I think last time, of course, Tactical Tuesday. You basically said in terms of sort of tactics, Rip are really good with tactics, but when it comes to that close to quarter battle, they're not quite there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing as well, right? Right now, OMBD, Mumblerines, and RedCoats, and Fear Academy, they're bringing out, well, if not all of their best, they're bringing out the top tier guys, right? And they have 9 each, no problem. But if you want to get top tier, like a full 40 top tier guys, that's going to be tricky, right? Some of them are going to be slightly lacking. So I feel like as individual groups, OMBD and Fear Academy can bring out guys that are slightly better in terms of skill level than RIP can bring out 40 of right now. Even though this is the Warthogs. This is basically the biggest and best group that RIP has to offer, from my knowledge. The internal structure of RIP is a little bit of a secret, from what I know.
Yeah. No one knows their good old
their Discord.
Good old Discord or anything of that sort. It's very, very sort of hush. Let me go. I don't want to be too much of a dick in terms of the commander comms. Just turn that down to sort of 81. But in terms of Rusty in places, it's all over. It's all over the outskirts. You know, up towards the northern side, they're starting to push in like really heavily. Squad 3 there. Down Squad 5 still sort of alive. Jeff Will down towards that sort of south side we saw earlier where that Humvee blew up. They're around that area as well. And I believe Rusty in places up on. See if they're doing it. They are doing it on Echo 5, Keypad 7, Key 7 or Sub 7. They've got 2 mortars located up in that sort of pre-built compound. So we might see a bit of mortar action here. But yeah, it's really just close quarter combat.
Yeah, and I mean, RIP still sort of, that's definitely mortars up there. They're still sort of getting their stuff, and the mortars are just sitting there. They're waiting for orders right now. They don't have, they probably don't have a fire mission, and now they're just waiting for it.
United States now sort of capturing that sort of outskirts. That's good. That's what we do want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, they desperately, like, if you don't capture outskirts in the early game, you're going to be set back heavily because you need that foothold. You need that foot in the door, basically, of this town. Just somewhere safe to spawn and to be able to push from. But this is tricky. And look at this defense already set up by OMBD here on Courtyard.
Yeah, we do have sort of Rusty in places at the moment. Confident, definitely confident in their sort of their speech. They are looking to sort of gradually start pushing up to sort of Courtyard, but they kind of want to keep that momentum going. We see once Rusty in places get momentum, then there's sometimes no stopping them. Especially on Logar Valley. Logar Valley, when they get the momentum, it's all over.
Yeah, and it's I feel like they can react and they can adapt very quickly, but if you completely shut them down, they lose heart, I would say. Is the way. Like, it sort of showed a little bit in terms of the second round of the last time these two met. That RIP didn't really have the oomph they usually do in round 2. they were more reserved in terms of both their tactics and sort of how much they would risk trying to win the match. And they're now approaching courtyard, though.
I'm sure it's like any sort of you know, mentality when you're sort of playing. Is I'm just gonna make sure I don't get surprised by
the phone.
Alright. No, not a phone. By myself talking in the background. But I think it's with every like sort of any clan is, you know, once you start to feel that pressure and stress, you can then start to dip in morale or sort of dip in performance itself.
Yeah.
It's only that sort of squad leader or that, you know, if they keep, kind of like what Mumblerines do, and you know, with Nordic, you know, he shouting and screaming, and it's like, come on guys, get the momentum going. So, as long as there's sort of no dip in morale or anything of that sort, it should be okay.
Yeah. And I feel like as long as you feel like you're moving forward. If they stagnate, for example, right here, this road crossing that they're trying to do now, which is extremely difficult. It's
heading over to that sort of courtyard area.
Yeah,
is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Planet Gong and Winsky here. Oh, Captain Planet going down. Shit. There we go. Actually, OMBD has snipers at gas station as well. Looking down at that area, really securing that road. It's going to be very, very difficult to cross there with all these guns pointing that way.
Yeah, very, very smart. So what do we got? So we've got Sniper that's been sort of marked on the sort of north of the gas station, but we have Fear Academy just out towards the west side of Mosque. They've basically put themselves up in a little compound. Even I think Old Man Bring Death are on the sort of northeast side of Courtyard as well, in that sort of multiplex sort of skyscraper building. So
yeah. Wow, and look at this daring though. RIP having no one on defense here. There's no one. Actually, strike that. They do have a squad on defense. They're just in the buildings on the east side here.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They're using that sort of high rise, and out towards their sort of eastern area, they do have sort of Fear Academy fighting on the ground just outside of Mosque itself.
Yeah.
So we got Fear Academy. I think they're going to go defense on Mosque. We're going to have sort of Mumblerines, Old Man Bring Death. They're going to stay on the sort of courtyard and sort of defend them there.
Yeah. I wonder, like, are they? I don't know. What are Fear Academy really doing here? Are they waiting, or have they already tried pushing in and failed?
I think they're gonna wait. I think they're gonna wait. And they're gonna cover that sort of eastern side, north side of western side of Mosque, and that sort of northeastern side of Courtyard, just in case Rip try to flank up north, because what you don't want the Americans to do is place any sort of fob or anything north or north of suburbs or north of courtyards.
Definitely.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen. So if Fear Academy sort of stay out that way, preoccupy Rusty in places up there, then you know if they can't get that way, then you know we may see sort of a dip in sort of strategy for Rusty in places, and they have to think on the fly. So
absolutely.
You know, you've got Mumblerines, where we saw sort of Rusty in places before.
Yeah, coming in from the east side there.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Now Mumblerines have pushed across the road. They're going to start clearing this sort of containers area and those sort of compounds. And I think the nearest Rusty in places regiment, if I'm not mistaken, is nowhere.
The defenders.
And north side of Outskirt.
Yeah. I think the first wave, sort of, enough of them got taken out that the rest were easily cleaned up. However, RIP now also have a spawn point on the south that they're going to utilize.
They do, yes.
With all defenders on the north side. I do see a couple of OMBD guys pushing out on the south side, just sort of holding. I'm not... No. That's where the hab is, so that's why those guys are down there. So basically, RIP are going to be coming in from the south side, the weak side right now for Courtyard.
For the Courtyard, yep. And they, Rusty in Places have placed a fob on Delta 8 Keypad 9 sub 6 as well. It's going to be just outside the gas station, or within the gas station if I'm not mistaken. Actually, probably south side. Yeah. So, I'm sure their logic is going to get that sort of up and running. Squad leader will get that sort of hab down. But yeah, the weak side on courtyard, as we see, is the sort of south side. And the insurgents have the sort of mortars just over on, I believe. We're going to be looking at sort of Foxtrot 8, Keypad 5, sub 1, where the insurgents, Old Man Bring Death.
And Jeff will has now spotted the hab as well. RIP know exactly where that is.
Nice more. Keep it up.
Yeah, and in terms of outskirts, it looks like Rusty Place is now getting pushed back. We've got Mumblerines sort of closing in on that sort of southeast side. I don't know in terms of Fear Academy. Fear Academy, where we saw them on the mosque, are now starting to push up that road.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think what they wanted to do is to basically wait. They were waiting for the right time to sort of strike at that target. If RIP overextended themselves on courtyard, then they could come in behind them and you'd have a double neutral situation. So they were probably just maybe making double safe that they were sort of covered in terms of defense.
Well, Rusty Place has now sort of dug down this hab on the south side of courtyard. We got Old Man Bring.
Yep. They are everywhere right now, coming in. And OMBD now on the south side are completely open. And very, very few defenders here. 4 guys alive. RIP, however, now only have 2 people alive. It's Naja and Jeff Will. So this is going to be tricky. Oh. And wow, Naja now the only one alive on this attack. It looks like it's going to fizzle, but they did take out the enemy hab, which is going to set OMBD and the insurgent side back slightly on that defense. But look at this. They've been completely hammered on outskirts. And both Mumblerines and Fear Academy are ready to push in. Really, really tricky here for RIP. Now massively respawning in the north. And they need to basically push in on outskirts. My goodness. And look at these numbers that Fear Academy and Mumblerines are bringing in. And just crossing the road with it. Outskirts is in real trouble. Whereas Courtyard will be coming in eventually. I do see... No, they've just not respawned yet. They're mostly down. We have a few respawns, but I think they're going to wait and gather. And I'm unsure if they actually got the fob and the hab. I don't know if they were in the same building or where the FOB is. The FOB might be on flag.
So if you could do it, Bill.
Yeah, I don't know. But the tickets now are 462 to 361 for RIP. So RIP at a 100 ticket deficit and at a 30 kill deficit, it's actually now, wow. It increased to about 36.
Mortar firing.
And now the mortars are coming in, and I'm wondering where they'll hit. Oh yeah, here on the north side, close to the hab. This is going to be hard for RIP to deal with. Mortars hitting this close to their... Oh yeah, that's a bit off. It is a little bit off. They need that more north and more east, and they'd be dead on. Alright, so RIP now appears to stabilize on flag. Not really, though. They do have 3 attackers, but they've got 4 or 5 defenders. But it's still tricky here. They're trying to cross and having to do this engagement again, sort of. They need to once again assault outskirts to defend it, which is not ideal. And that sound... Oh, so that's where the mortars are. Right there. And it is Lundqvist and Soda with Deathwisher controlling or commanding the mortars there. And OMBD now again establishing that hab, same location. I don't know if it maybe wasn't dug down completely because it looks identical to the other one. But I can't be sure. And Fiska now shooting at AERL as well. Let's have a look at the defense on outskirts now. Once again, a lot more RIP guys on it. They appear to have stabilized quite a lot. I think most of the insurgent forces focusing on that hab area instead. And mortars now just bombing the general area of outskirts.
Enemies at the southern fob.
Enemies at the southern fob. Really? Oh wow, and look at this. Enemies on the southern fob. Was that AERL? Is that where the southern fob is? No. Then I don't know what they mean. Alright, so insurgent side appeared to have a bit of an advantage. Let's just have a look at the flags here. We've got outskirts still US side, but under heavy attack. Look at all these guys. Completely, well, not completely surrounding, but at least half of all angles are being attacked by the insurgent side. And they have close spawning, they have courtyard under wraps, and no big attack happening from RIP. They are mainly focused on defense right now. And their mortars appear to be quiet. But they do have, actually, it's the same squad as well as Jeff, Will, Naja, Fjell, and Peanut.
There is one striker north.
As well as Orcus. Now coming in, and Peanut, no, that's Fjell, has actually taken shots towards Hatafisker. And so basically US side shouldn't know, insurgents should know they're here. Yep, and they absolutely do. Prawny, they're killing Fjell instantly. Fjell being the medic as well. That's a big hit there for that attack. And he said something about, yep, there we go. There's the hab that's taking the US side over here. Already 3-man down for this US attack. And we do have Bad Ash on the south there looking for that FOB. Let's have a look back here on the attack. It looks like by the way, I'm just ignoring the fact that Saint is gone just to continue the cast. Don't, like, it wasn't planned. That's so it's not strange. I'm just continuing. Just in case someone thought I was super weird. So RIP now on outskirts. Resilience killing Rygo there. And is now up behind. The heck is these guys? That's Pyro and Egoistin actually. So this is looking, I mean, RIP are stable in their position right now. They're actually pushing back on the north side. They've prioritized defending the FOB right now, which is fine. And I mean, they're stable on flag as well right now. They're getting slightly more pressure there. But they're stable, but they're not stable like on the amount of flags they sort of want to be stable on. Ooh, look at this stuff. This is nasty. As well as a lot of defenders there. It's Sergeant Harry as well up here. And then we've got Tong Tong. So Redcoats are basically ready for vehicles to try and cross these different bridges. And if we just have a look. Yeah, but they've actually pulled back. And they've now peppered this, it's an SPG-9, I assume. Yeah, and this SPG-9 is going to go down. That's possibly going to make the vehicle slightly more confident. Maybe they'll try and cross some bridges. And at that point, it is all over. because there is a bomb somewhere on this bridge. It's actually off bridge. It is right there. And that's going to be tricky to avoid while you're driving, and it's going to take someone out, and that's tickets. RIP cannot afford to lose. They're at 422 to 276 with a kill advantage of about 50 tickets now. Yeah, it's roughly 50. So this is actually going to be tricky. Oh, and look at this. Mumblerines now having pushed in. Fear Academy as well on target here. They have more and more guys on flag. Let's just have a quick count here. Yeah, and they should be capping. I'm quite sure. Insurgents now capping. Yeah, they're neutralizing outskirts.
Well done.
RIP have cleared them out completely off the north side here, though. But if they lose this flag, I mean, all it gains them is a foothold, I guess. And the foothold is important, but so is the flag, especially considering that if you lose the flag, you lose tickets. And they're short on tickets already. Welcome back, Saint.
Yeah, the fight was that intense, it locked up my system.
Holy crap. Oh, that's pretty decent. Well,
So
you were sorely missed. But right now the match is actually going poorly for RIP yet again.
Aye.
Yeah.
So give me the last 5-minute rundown. What would you say?
All right.
In terms of,
The last 5-minute rundown was basically RIP. Their attack fizzling. You were there. Their attack sort of fizzled. They were forced to pull back. In the wake of that, FA and Mumblerines pushed in towards outskirts, as well as oh, I can't. Maybe RedCoats. I couldn't tell you who exactly, but someone flanked on their FOB on the north side and started hitting that pretty hard.
Yes.
And RIP focused a lot of forces on trying to push out and defend their FOB. And in the wake of that, Mumblerines and Fear Academy pushed into outskirts and now have the majority there. So Insurgent side is recapping outskirts.
I'll copy.
As well
Roger.
as they have a lot of nasty stuff going on the peripheries as well, because they've placed, or RedCoats have placed bombs on the bridges.
Ah, smart. They know
Yeah.
that Rusty in place is going to be using the vehicles, and they try to get back towards those sort of cap zones, or the logistics sort of run. Very, very smart there from.
Yeah,
Coalition.
and it's not only that, but I think RIP are onto them because the vehicle, or they brought an SPG-9 technical over there, and that technical got spotted and shot down, and now I think they're just not using the two bridges with mines on them because they suspect something is there, because everyone's taking the long way now and driving via village. So it's I think they know. Or they might at the very least suspect. And right now, things are still sort of changing. I mean, US side still has outskirts. RIP still holding on to it. And right now, I think they've cleared out
Best of our northern HEB.
most of the insurgents. Yeah, they have. They've cleared out all the insurgents on outskirts. And outskirts is once again US territory.
Bombs away.
And right now,
It can sort of give them a bit of breathing space now, but still they have to consider they've only got outskirts and village under their control. So
yeah,
Now.
they also need to start their attack over again, and they need to actually hold that. And I think what I'm worried about is that basically Insurgent side will do the same tactic again, right? They will wait for RIP to do their attack again, and once they overextend, they're just gonna push into outskirts yet again. Basically, they can do that as many times as they want, basically. And now U.S. Army defended outskirts, so it's once again 100% U.S. territory. And now it's up to them to mount any kind of attack. But The problem has been so far that any kind of attack they've made on outskirts has been spotted between 100 and 200 meters early, and they've just been demolished at that point.
Yeah, so what, like, yeah, I've just loaded back in now. So down towards that sort of southeastern sort of section of outskirts, we've still got Mumblerines and Fear Academy pushing in. Not pushing into outskirts as such, but, you know, pushing into those sort of high-rise and buildings on that sort of the east side of outskirts.
Yeah, and if you look at Mumblerines here, they're getting terribly, terribly close to that hab. They're actually on top of it here. Demon Hunt now spawning in, but he's got 4 Mumblerines close. Oh, and he actually, he gets one of them. He's still alive. Who'd he kill there? That was the Mumblerines delusion, but now, oh, there we go. The hab is camped, and RIP need to pull back and defend the hab. So this is once again a tricky situation for RIP. They're stuck between defending the flag and the hab. They need to take out the enemy spawn point, I think. They need to cut them off at the source, or they're just gonna keep doing this because
it's just gonna be over and over again, you know. And it's not gonna work out. So at the moment, United States Army Rusty in place is 210 tickets, Insurgent Forces 381 tickets. So we have around about 171 sort of ticket advantage for the Insurgent Forces being the coalition. But yeah, I totally agree. It's just going to be backwards and forwards. Mumblerines are going to keep hitting that sort of northern hab section. Rusty in place is going to commit to some guys there. And then if they get rid of Mumblerines, then Fear Academy is going to come into outskirts, and then vice versa.
Yeah. And this kind of tactic, like, as long as RIP are stuck all the way back here in terms of flags, they're at the edge of town. As long as they're stuck there, this is perfect for the feral Mumcoats. It's gonna be, that's exactly what they want, because as long as they're stuck defending and running between targets, they are not attacking.
Yes.
And it's yeah. So right now this is working. They're basically, I don't know. I think RIP just can't subdivide enough to deal with this in equal measure. They always end up overcompensating one place or another. And I feel like having all these 4 individual squads is, I think that's the difference. It is sort of the commander can't, how can I explain this? Fear Old Mumcoats, they have 4 heads that are trying to coordinate and cooperate, whereas RIP appears to have 1 head that's trying to deal with all these 4. Yeah.
Dealing with the south, dealing with the sort of northern side, exactly. Yeah. Where if they've got that sort of constant flow on the insurgent side, each head sort of corresponding with each other, which they've done quite often. These sort of these plans up against RIP, but with RIP, yeah, you've got that one guy that has to sort of deal with the north, south, and then think, okay, what can I do next, etc., etc., etc. So
yeah. So I think this is
quite demanding.
Yeah, and I think this is sort of showing you, because RIP have always had rigid structure, and that's worked very well for them with the commander being able to do, but I feel like this as well, it's sort of like a chaotic coordination where all these 4 squads have individual things that they're trying to do, but they're still managing to, by doing 2 or 3 things at once, forcing RIP to sort of, well, they're just not able to deal with everything. They can't put out every fire that is made, basically. Like, yeah, Mumblerines and Fear Academy are just setting more fires than RIP can put out at once, and that appears to be doing the trick right now. It's oh wow,
yeah.
They just lost
sorry.
a huge amount of tickets. No, that's fine. Look at this, 133. They've lost like 80 tickets in 2 minutes.
It's not looking good at all. Squad 5 still hitting that sort of western side of courtyard for Rusting Places, but yeah, a large majority of the forces are committed to sort of to keeping outskirts afloat. They need to keep that afloat as much as possible.
Yeah, not only that, but you appear to have 1 full squad of guys watching the FOB, And then there is half a squad on the mortars, and the mortars are now getting taken out, by the way. And then there is another 1.5 squads defending, and you don't have enough people because right now there's 3 guys attacking, and that's not doing anyone any good.
Yep.
Oh, there's 4 guys attacking, by the way. My bad. But it's, yeah, it's just not enough. But I feel like part of this as well is like they need to have this many people on defense because they're losing on the individual skill level. They're losing maybe 1.5 of the trades, and they're sort of always have to overcompensate with people to sort of.
Yeah, like if we look at the sort of KD sort of ratio for United States rostering places and sort of in insurgent forces, 117 to 174 deaths to 169, 122. It's not too shabby.
No, absolutely not.
It's not too shabby. I sort of expect the rostering places to sort of be a bit lower in that sort of KD. But of course, with the insurgents constantly pushing in towards outskirts, you have a couple of those rusty places guys sort of staying back and let the sort of enemy come to you.
And honestly, I mean, ideally, right? If say this was a random public game, I just jumped in and I somehow have admin cam, and I check the scores, I would expect the U.S. side to have 1.5 to 2 times the amount of kills as the insurgent side, not the other way around. See, that's what's alarming me, right? Because as soon as these sides switch and the trades are then balanced, because it's just about sort of the kits they get, right? The US side, they have slightly faster rate of fire that is favored in close quarters, and they have the optics that is sort of favored in long distance. So they're So I'm just like, next round when the sides do switch, how's the KD gonna be then? How are they gonna deal with that? And now Mumblerines once again on outskirts and looking to outnumber RAP. And
so what do we got? So we got at the moment 82 tickets. They're just bleeding. They're really bleeding at the moment. The United States Army. In terms of their tickets, every sort of 2 minutes they're losing like 20 tickets, maybe 30 tickets. And insurgent forces still 352 sort of tickets here, and now we're going to see sort of Fear Academy and Mumblerines really push up on outskirts and really just give it to them. Sort of get Rusty in Places by the neck.
Yeah, and Rusty in Places are down to 1 FOB as well now. They took out the FOB in the north and the mortar fob, so now they're on the only one is the gas station.
So compared to sort of the courtyard, squad 6 and squad 5 sort of pushing in on the west side of courtyard, they're not getting anywhere. They're really heavily defended and really well by the insurgent forces there, and with only that one sort of fob and hab towards the sort of south of outskirts, now we've got squad 3 of Rusty in Places now pushing up, and we've got at outskirts at the moment, we've got Fear Academy and Mumblerines, pretty as a picture, just waiting for the forces to sort of come in now. So they've really given it to Rusty in Places this time around. Like, really sort of giving it to them. Insurgent forces now neutralizing outskirts, get it by the throat, and that's what they've done. 57 tickets now for the United States Army Forces. Insurgent forces still 346 tickets. Haven't lost that many in the past couple of minutes. And we're sort of coming up to 40 minutes, I believe, 40 minutes of play. So the sort of standard 40 to 45 minutes that we usually see in sort of CCFN or sort of Tactical Tuesday type rounds, but maybe this one was just a bit faster than kind of expected.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be, because, well, I just remember we started a little bit late, so it's roughly 40 minutes, technically 37 right now. And, I mean, the thing is, the thing that sort of tells me that this hasn't gone RIP's way is they got that first foothold and then never got any further. They had maybe 3 sort of they weren't really successful. Like, this is the first time I've seen them actually on flag in terms of on courtyard there. And right now they've got 1 guy alive. So basically just been stopped dead in their tracks. They were given outskirts and no more, or they took outskirts but didn't get any more, basically. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's tricky to
That's
stop
it.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I think Rusty in Places wanted to start as U.S. forces to sort of begin with. And we saw, I guess at the sort of start of the match and a bit of overview of the match, we sort of saw, Rusty Places up towards the northern section. They put the hab on the northern section of outskirts. They had one squad push in towards the sort of south side. Humvee gets blown up. There already goes some tickets. A little sort of sacrifice there. We had sort of Rusty in Places mortar squad to the northern side of outskirts. We saw, really good push from Rusty in Places on the outskirts. They fully captured. Insurgents then went back. They stayed calm. They got on. They got onto the courtyard area to really just push any Americans that are sort of coming back. We had Fear Academy on the west side of Mosque. Stopping any sort of eastern side flank from Rusty in Places. Rusty in Places end up taking the hab down towards the sort of south side of Courtyard, which is fantastic. And then for me it kind of went black on my screen, but then it's kind of like Rusty in Places get pushed back on the outskirts, and as you said, Mumblerines were pushing the hab to the north of outskirts. So they had to commit some forces there. They had to commit forces on the outskirts because Fear Academy were pushing in.
But here's the thing, right? You don't really they chose to commit forces there. They chose to do this and that. I'm not saying it's the wrong choices, but as soon as they took down that hab on Courtyard, you have a choice. Like, I can build on this momentum, or I can go back and stop the enemy from capping, or stop the enemy from taking that hab or that fob. If they had completely engaged on Courtyard at that point, there was no quick spawn for the insurgent side. They could have overwhelmed that flag, and then they would have that double neutral situation. And I don't know if that's better or worse, or even if they would have had that double neutral, they might have capped before the enemy could completely neutralize their flag. So it's sort of, I'm not saying that what they did was wrong. I'm saying there's multiple ways, right? They weren't forced to lose right now. They had a hand in it as well, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, of course, us being in the sky and then them sort of on the ground, it sort of comes down to, just the sort of pressure, sort of Rusty in Places were feeling, being that sort of that one person to sort of command all squads and deal with the sort of south and north, where coalition, you're on the sort of coalition insurgent side with Mumblerines, Old Membering Death, Fear Academy, and RedCoats. They can sort of really communicate well, sort of with each other.
I mean, a lot of these,
it's kind of like we can only sort of speculate, what sort of can happen, and it's kind of. If they watch it back, then they'll be like, okay, yeah, that's true, or yeah, maybe not. So
absolutely. And I mean, I'm basically the point I was trying to make isn't that he did something that was inherently bad, because that's not my point at all. My point is there's always a multiple choice sort of. There's always more than one way, and those times where you feel like, well, I had no chance at all in that engagement, then generally it's the small choices that you make. Well, you chose to pull back there, or you chose to attack there, or you chose to, there's always the option of going laterally when you're thinking forward or back, and there's always the option of going, back when you think only forward is the way. So it's
very true.
It's all the small choices. It's not just the individual skill or losing the trades, or even though that's a big part of it, and I think a big part of this matchup as well. But it's not only that; it's also the small choices, and I feel like being on the defensive in this situation is maybe because. If you're on the defensive and they're already winning the trades, sort of, you don't want to play the trading game then. If they're winning the trades, you don't want to be playing that game, So you want to try something else, and instead they played the trading game. And that's
Right.
yeah. All right.
No,
So
we'll sort of see what they sort of come back with on that sort of second round. I'm gonna quickly
Absolutely.
restart my computer. OBS and Discord aren't working for me, so
oh, that sucks. Yep.
yeah,
So
I'll be back
hopefully
in.
everything will be sorted then.
Yeah, no worries. See you soon, man.
All right, later.
User
So
disconnected
that
from
is
your channel.
it. Hang on. So that is it for round 1. RIP lost by forgot to count how many tickets, but it was a big number, 300 something. So hopefully everything will be better for round 1. It's going to be interesting, or round 2, sorry. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and if RIP have better or more efficient plans and better play to bring for round 2. I'll see you then.